What I'd like to do today, very quickly, is go through the premise of the competition, run through the frequently asked questions that are now posted on our website, and then take questions. For those of you who are watching this live, feel free to send in further questions to the email on the competition website. But in principle, let me just start by saying this is a project, it's the launch of the competition by the SCI-FI program at SCI-Arc. SCI-FI programs are dedicated urban design, city formulation, and kind of a policy think tank. The intention of this competition came out of a discussion that we've been having at this school around the relationship between architecture, urban design, and the shape of the city. In this case, we're very interested in understanding opportunities that have arisen out of a specific measure, Measure R, which was passed, I'm going to probably have to sit here and fiddle with this for the rest of the afternoon, which was passed, as you probably know, in November. It's a $40 billion initiative which will provide capital for shovel-ready transit-related projects over the next 30 years. So, for instance, the subway to the sea, the Expo line, the regional connector here in downtown, the East Side Corridor, transit lines, etc. More broadly, though, of course, this is part, we believe, of a general trend and a discussion around rebuilding our nation's crumbling infrastructure. As you know, our President Obama has pledged significant funds towards this problem, so that we feel that we are at a very specific and special moment historically, and ideally as designers, we can comment on the relationships between transit systems, public space, and the development of the city. Our hope is that transit design and transportation design are not merely engineering problems, are not merely seen as technical issues, but actually could be considered in light of issues of public space, the public sphere, and the public realm. Which means we think that this competition provides an opportunity for you as designers to have input into the remaking of cities and to be able to critically engage transportation planners, engineers, and urban planners in providing what we think might be, quote-unquote, out-of-the-box thinking around not only the future of the city like Los Angeles, but more broadly the North American city. Essentially, our response then was to organize a competition with the blessing of Metro LA, the CRA, which is the Community Redevelopment Agency of Los Angeles, and the City of Los Angeles Department of Planning. As you may know, our jury includes Gail Goldberg, Director of Planning, City of Los Angeles, Cecilia Villas-Dumana, who's the CEO of the Community Redevelopment Agency of Los Angeles, as well as Aspen Davidian, who is a project director at Metro LA. We also have Tom Main, Pritzker Prize-winning architect, Neil Benari, professor at UCLA and practitioner in this town, and of course Eric Owen Moss, who is the director of the school and principal of zone practice, Eric Owen Moss Architects. So, what we're looking for then, within the framework of Measure R, is a series of kind of innovative responses to a variety of sites around the city, which I'll touch on briefly. But in principle, we're looking for ideas and concepts, less so technical resolution. It's a very limited brief. You're asked to produce two boards. One is a local area plan, which deals with a specific and focused component of the city, and it has probably a kind of architectural, not architectural, urban design scale. The second board is a transit system scale board, and here we're asking that we look at the kind of broader implications of your solution at the scale of the city more generally. If that's clear, then I will move forward to the next page. And then we have the processing, of course. Give me a second, I want to start this. So really, I mean, while I'm trying to find this file, what we see is that there's a possibility to address both the kind of policy aspects of Measure R, which are to do with how money gets allocated to rebuilding the city, as much as the kind of, let's say, design, urban design, and even aesthetic implications of transit design in Los Angeles. So what I want to show you here then basically locations that are based on the alternatives set by Metro Los Angeles. All of this can be visited on their website, the link which is embedded in this file, which you can download from our website, also from the Architects newspaper website. But there is essentially a westbound expansion corridor that's Exposition Boulevard, Culver City to Santa Monica. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. So you see here, basically the west side extension takes in a series of alternate routes in Culver City, which ultimately terminate in Santa Monica. So that would be the first dedicated local area that you can study if you were to enter this competition. The second zone, shown here, is the Green Line extension to Los Angeles International Airport. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these alternate locations. The URL connections to Metro's website, where you'll find ample narrative description of each project, should suffice for now. But in essence, this is a light rail line extension to LAX, the route which should be pretty evident here. The third option for entrance to consider is the Regional Connector Transit Corridor. This is linking 4 light rail lines that terminate at the edges of downtown or central Los Angeles. So the problem here would be thinking about how the urban fabric of downtown could be adapted or could serve as a means of weaving 4 transit lines into potentially one system. I'm going to show you the last 2. Number 4 is the East Side Expansion Corridor Study. For those of you familiar with the project, it's an extension of the Gold Line, which is when it passes very close to this school, eastward towards the communities of Montebello, Monterey Park, and Pico Rivera. And finally, our last 2 options, and it's the 5th option actually has 2 potential areas of study. You're welcome to do both or one of them. The first is the West Santa Ana Branch Corridor. This is an initiative basically to connect West Santa Ana with downtown Los Angeles. You can see the branch here running approximately parallel to the 5 freeway. And then the other option is the San Fernando Valley I-405 corridor connection. Again, without getting into too much detail, I encourage you to find more information about these alternatives. This is the website here. Link is embedded in the file. You can actually see what Metro LA has intended for these alternative studies. But we are looking for solutions to move beyond merely Metro's, primarily I would say sort of pragmatic approach to remaking each of these transit corridors. So let me move forward just really quickly then. I'm going to jump forward a little bit to, bear with me, the sort of transit system scale map. And unfortunately, this is not loading with a huge degree of clarity. But what you see here essentially is every bus and light rail and subway line embedded within the Southland. And this is the kind of scale that we're hoping to work on when you develop your second board. So if in the first instance you are kind of looking at a particular zone, for instance, the connection between the Green Line and LAX at Sepulveda, for instance, on the second board, we would ask then that the transit solution that you are addressing, if it has applications in the broader field, could be understood in terms of a larger kind of urban dynamic. Okay, this is just very, very straightforward. This is the entry form. It should be self-explanatory, hopefully. If there are questions about it, I will take them at the end of today's session. But just to be clear about format, There are two boards. They are Arc D, which is scaled imperial 24 by 36 inches, and they are to be formatted landscape. They must be permanently mounted on 1/4 inch thick foam core, color of your own choice. You may include three-dimensional rendering, scale technical drawings, sketches, photographs. Each entry must be accompanied by a brief narrative description of no more than 500 words that explicitly connects the design intentions of your entry to the ambitions of Measure R. Again, you can read about Measure R on Metro sites. In addition to submission of the boards, we're asking that you provide us with digital copies of the boards in PDF format for reuse and publication, for instance. These should be burned onto a CD. Hello, David Bergman. This is my SCI-FI co-coordinator, David Bergman. My name is Peter Zellner. I may have never even said that.
Sorry, I went bus.
He took the bus. Or the metro. So anyway, so on this, just to be really clear, on this DVD, you have a digital version of the physical submission in PDF format. You also have your narrative text saved as a Word or text file. This is for publication purposes. You need to label your DVD or CD with your team's name, your name, contact information, as it will get lost. If not, we probably will overlook the entry. In terms of who can enter, it should be very clear to you that this competition is open to students and professionals alike. There will be 2 awards categories, one for students, one for professionals. I can take questions around that issue a little later. There's some very simple information that you have to provide. Name of the entrant or the team, occupations, age, academic or professional affiliations, primary address, telephone numbers, fax number if you have one. Email address is crucial. I have to emphasize that if you don't have your email address, we cannot notify you of receipt of the materials, nor can we notify you if you've won. Because it's unlikely that we're going to be calling everybody who's entered. We'll have a very limited amount of time, a very small window between the jury, which will take place on Monday, March 16th, and the award ceremony, which will take place on Saturday, March 22nd. All this information on the entry format sheet that you see here must be permanently affixed onto the back of each board, printed out letter size. Again, the information that appears within your narrative, for instance, as well as all your team information, should probably be formatted in a Word document as well, or a text file burned onto the CD-ROM. All boards, and this is really crucial, must be entered anonymously. If there is any information identifying the team or the author, it is grounds for disqualification from the competition.
Marks, insignias, anything like that.
Logos, photographs of team members, cleverly photoshopped into perspectives. We know who you are. Now, so really, again, it's an anonymous competition. Submission deadlines. Materials must be received here at SCI-Arc, the Southern California Institute of Architecture at 960 East 3rd Street, Los Angeles, California, 90013. No later than 5 p.m. on Friday, March 13th. You're welcome to submit beforehand, but that is the cutoff deadline. Entries marked on that date will not be accepted. As I noted, the jury is the following Monday, so it's unlikely that on the Saturday or the Sunday we will be able to accept delivery of your entries because this is a Monday through Friday institution. Therefore, anything sent after that date, received after that date, is unfortunately going to be disqualified for the competition. I hope that's clear. Entry fee. Student entries with proof of student ID, meaning you're a current student, are $25 US. Professional entries per team, and this is per entry, it's not per individual on the team, $50 US. Checks, which can be cashier's checks or personal checks, should be made in US dollars to the Southern California Institute of Architecture. That's a non-refundable fee. It is to help us process the administration of the event, as well as to help us cover some of the employees. The issue of can I enter if I graduated from SCI-Arc 2 years ago and I'm still a student? The answer is no. If you graduated within 12 calendar months of the date of submission and you have proof of graduation, in the fact it says that we will accept your entry as a student entry, assuming you have not found a job yet. Copyright. Copyright for all entries is retained by the entrants. However, the organizers, meaning SCI-Arc and the Architects newspaper, retain right of use for express purposes of press, publication, and exhibition. What that means is that you retain intellectual copyright in perpetuity, over the subject of design. We, SCI-Arc and the Architects newspaper, reserve to have first right of refusal in terms of the publication of materials, meaning it cannot be published anywhere else other than the Architects newspaper initially. We'll release the materials to you once we've published them in the Architects newspaper. And you may not make the entries if you want, or design aspects of the entries if you want, public on or before March 21st, 2009. Publication or distribution of entries or design aspects of the entries by print, web, press, television, radio, whatever medium will disqualify you from jury evaluation. We'll get into the fact, but this also means that if your work has been submitted and published elsewhere, if you've been commissioned to undertake a transit design and you seek to enter it, you will be disqualified. We are looking for original work, never seen before, designed specifically for this event.
Yeah, don't recycle your projects. That's what that's about. Say, oh, I've done something similar, this would be perfect. No, it's not. Don't accept it.
That said, I mean, if you have a generic system that you can apply to your city, within reason, obviously, you're going to tailor it to our competition. But just keep in mind that what we're asking is that you address the specific parameters of Measure R. If you've done professional work in the city of Los Angeles or Metro LA that has been publicly viewed and or commissioned, it is not qualified to enter this competition. Awards, jury discussion, and exhibition schedule as noted on Saturday, March 21st at 2 p.m. at the school in this hall, William M. Keck Hall. We will have a presentation of the awards, a discussion by the jury, and an exhibition of the winning entries as well as some honorable mentions. Those selected entries will be exhibited from March 21st to March 28th. There's a little bit of information here about SCI-Arc and the Architects newspaper. I will just say very briefly that we feel this is, SCI-FI is probably now hopefully leading urban planning and design programs in Southern California. And the Architects newspaper is leading comprehensive source of information on projects and commissions. We've also been joined by ArcConnect, who's our media sponsor. We're very happy to have them on board. And as we move forward, we have the support now of the American Planning Association, California chapter, Los Angeles, the AIA Los Angeles, chapter of the American Institute of Architects here in LA is on board, and finally the Los Angeles Forum for Architecture and Urbanism. In addition to the public events that we'll be staging here, we hope to do a series of public forums at other venues, hopefully the LA Forum's Hollywood Gallery, as well as AIA Los Angeles. So this will be a kind of ongoing and hopefully very fruitful series of public events and discussions.
And it's also, for those of you that are interested in the SCI-FI program, an opportunity to get a flavor of the type of work and investigations that are undertaken in SCI-FI. Applications for the upcoming fall of 2009 are still being accepted through March 4th. And this really is, as much as anything, an opportunity to give you a taste of the kind of work and investigations that we undertake in this program.
Okay, I'm going to, David and I will now run through the fact. If there are questions which have not been answered through this information session, we can take them after we get through this piece here. So the question initially around issues of entry requirements, registration, and eligibility. Who can enter? As I noted, it's an open international ideas competition. It is open to students and professionals alike. Does my team have to be based in Los Angeles? Are we required to have an LA-based partner to enter? The answer is no. There's no requirement to be based in Los Angeles or to have a partner based in LA. What is the last day to register for the competition? As we have noted, the submission deadline for competition materials is 5 p.m. on Friday, March 13th. There's no independent pre-registration date. In other words, you are not asked to independently send your registration information, cashier's check, etc. prior to that date. The entire package, registration and submission, are to be submitted together on or before 5 p.m. on Friday, March 13th, 2009.
There's no pre-qualification, this is not a two-stage process.
Correct. Can I send my registration form and payment early? No. Again, all entries, registration forms, and payment for each entry should be received in one package on or before 5 p.m. on Friday, March 13th, 2009. Can recent graduates enter in the student category? Yes, recent graduates, even that one. Recent graduates, meaning you left school less than 12 months ago, may enter under the student category. Please provide proof of graduation and copy of your diploma indicating that you graduated on or before March 13, 2008. But truthfully, it will be the end of the semester for 2008. That will be fine. General information. Who can I call about the competition? We're not able to take any questions by phone. You can send questions to this email address. It's peter_Zellner@SCI-Arc.edu. But please make sure that these are not questions that have not already been answered in this document, which can be downloaded from our website. Are entrants going to be provided with a research brief or package? No. There's no basic briefing document for entrants. We suggest that you study Metro LA's Measure R web pages, which are listed here. You can also attend several very interesting public events that are going to be staged in the coming weeks. Unfortunately, one of them occurred yesterday, but on February 5th, there was the Transportation Demand Management Symposium at LA Metro. Hopefully some of you attended that. But moving forward, there's a Westside Urban Forum Symposium called Waiting for the Train. Features Gail Goldberg, Roger Mollier, the Chief Real Estate Property Management Development Officer of the Metro. And it's moderated by Jonathan Zasloff, Professor of Law at the UCLA School of Law, as well as Design Center for Real Estate at UCLA. It will occur on Friday, February the 20th at the Regency Club on Wilshire. There's online registration information here. We encourage you to go. Unfortunately, not listed in this document, but also suggested is a transit and sustainable development summit at Art Center. It's on our website, and I believe it occurs on the 18th. But again, check our website. We have a link there to that information. Moving forward, make sure we touch on everything here. Submissions. Are there any standardized drawings required? No, there's no explicit format for entries other than those listed in the competition outline. You need a narrative, you need 2 boards, they're ARC-D. We suggest 2 different scales, but how you work plans, sections, axiometrics, diagrams, that's all up to you and your team. Can I submit previously published work for commercial designs? We've already talked to this point, no. How do I know if my submissions have been received? All competitors whose entries have been received and processed by 5 p.m. on Friday, March 13th will be notified of receipt of their materials on or before 12 midnight on March 16th by email. Make sure, this is again, I have to emphasize, crucial, that you include a valid email address on your entry form. To be processed and received, of course, you have to also have submitted payment for registration. How do I get my materials back? SCI-Arc cannot deliver competitor submissions by mail or delivery service. However, you are welcome to pick up your submissions on Sunday, March 28th from 12 to 5 p.m. We'll post pickup details, but that would be the only way to physically collect the materials. We will not be returning any materials, boards, DVDs, certainly not checks.
Save a copy.
How do I know if my entry has won an award? As soon as we have completed the jury session on Monday, March 16th, we will be notifying winners by email on or before 5 p.m. on Tuesday, March 17th, 2009, Pacific Standard Time. We will encourage you to attend the award ceremony the following Saturday, the 21st. Unfortunately, travel and/or accommodation arrangements cannot be offered by the school. So if you live in the area, please attend. If you don't, attend. Especially if you want a little bit of money, it might make sense to collect your check. If I win, when can my team publicize our entry and award? As I said previously, SCI-Arc and the Arctics newspaper reserve exclusive rights to notify press of the outcomes of the competition until Monday, March 23rd, 2009 at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All competitors who have received award may release news of their award and project images to the press via their websites or email after Monday, March 23rd. And I apologize because in the previous discussion of this issue, I said the 21st. There's a discrepancy in the document. The correction is that you may not publicly announce or release information of your award before 12 noon on Monday, March 23rd, 2009. That means that SCI-Arc reserves the right to release all information around the competition following Monday morning, the 23rd, exclusively. Releasing this information prior to that date and time will constitute grounds for disqualification from the competition. So if you won first place and you go and brag about it online on the 21st, you will be disqualified and the second place winner will become the first place winner. We're quite serious about this because we feel that SCI-Arc has the right to own this material, at least for purposes of publicity, and we would like to have the opportunity to control that channel of information for a day or two. After that, you're free to do what you want to do.
Right, and in those first day or two, we see ourselves as partners with the winner in disseminating that information. So we will also be interested in broadcasting your success. And we have ways of doing that that may be able to assist you as well. So it's everyone's advantage.
Specifically, we have an engagement with a publicity firm that will be handling all PR around the competition. So that's not to say that we do not encourage you to seek other avenues for publicizing your winning award, but we just ask that you wait 2 days until Monday the 23rd before releasing news of that award to the world.
Oh, and also our partners, our sponsor partners also have great ways of disseminating information as well, and they're going to be participating in the process.
Last two questions. Are entrants expected to publicly present their entries if they are awarded? No. There is no public presentation by entrants to the jury or to the public. There is a public announcement of the winners and a public discussion by the jury, not with the winners, on March 21st. But the caveat to that is that we will schedule a series of separate public discussions with the winners. Again, probably with the Los Angeles Forum for Architecture and Urbanism, likely with the AIA, the main stage press event as a follow-up. The purpose of the event on Saturday is that it is an award ceremony and it is an opportunity for the jury to discuss their opinions and how they have actually adjudicated the winning teams. When will the award amounts be announced? We hope to announce prize amounts within 1 month. There's no endowment, and thus we are seeking sponsorship from private companies for this effort. This is an ongoing process. I can say that we are very close to lining up 2 major international sponsors, which means that we feel that we'll be able to give, if not super generous awards, fairly significant awards, cash prizes, and we're very happy about that. But we're not able to yet release that information. We will as soon as we can make it public. In addition to the cash prizes, we anticipate that there will be opportunities for the winners to have meetings, informal meetings with the City of LA, with the CRA, and with Metro LA. So, we see this less as a kind of opportunity to make money than an opportunity to have access to recorded discussions. That's really the point of the competition. So with that, we should take some questions.
Anything's unclear?
Are you open to other forms of transportation aside from bus and rail, something like personal rapid transit, for example?
Perhaps. I think that we're not going to close the door to alternate forms of transportation. I think you should keep in mind, though, that legitimately we're asking that you do take the terms of Measure R seriously.
Right, I was going to read Measure R and make sure if you're identifying something it's not precluded from Measure R. Those may include things like pedestrian improvements, for example.
Yes.
On the last image on board 1, why do you limit those 2 routes? Can't you do?
Let me go back to the board of this. The last image.
Yeah.
These 2.
Yeah, the one at the bottom. you highlighted on those.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a more involved conversation that we had with Metro LA, that we felt that we wanted to get a north, south, east, west alignment to the maps.
Is it is it by the Sepulveda?
Yes, that's correct. We felt that those were the two major initiatives aimed at dealing with north-south, not east-west traffic. And in particular, these are suburban connectors. So the scale at which they operate and the kind of communities that they serve, we think are probably as gradients across the city of Los Angeles, different in some ways than what you get from either an east-west alignment or the regional connector focus in downtown.
Is there any possibility to do other than those
No.
lines?
Those are the terms of the competition, and after some consideration for purposes of clarity and also to allow the jury to identify major issues associated with suburban commuting, for instance, we chose those two.
So in essence, we're limited to the transportation corridors that have been identified in Measure R?
Absolutely, this is a
There are
response.
other corridors not identified by MTA or
Correct.
Measure R?
This is a very narrowly focused, specific response to Measure R, and these are the case studies that have been adapted from the measure to give the competition a degree of focus and clarity. But we feel that there's enough variety in terms of the reach of each of these kind of areas of the study that you probably pretty confidently could deal with or tackle any problem that might be more common to the south. Yes.
But don't you think Measure R is a broad spectrum of what's going to happen in LA?
Those are the terms of the competition.
You set them up.
Those are the terms of the competition as they've been established. So you're welcome to address that issue, but frankly, for the purposes of this competition, we have identified 5 zones for competitors to engage in.
Even though there are some other more pressing needs,
Absolutely.
region-wide.
These are the 5. Again, I'll repeat myself. These are the 5 zones that this competition intends to tackle. If you find a way to set an example for other regions, you're more than welcome to. But the terms of the competition are specific. Frankly, yes, we could go elsewhere, but truthfully, we're also seeking to kind of focus our competitors' attention on what we think are 5 pressing problems.
It's not capricious also. There are reasons why these corridors were chosen as the representative set of problems in the region that we would like addressed.
Yes.
Are listing of alternate regions grounds for dismissal?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll be considered non-conforming submissions.
Don't you think that that internationally they're going to have a hard time trying to figure out, with this competition, because when you think about LA, it's very complex because of its diversity and its ethnic backgrounds in certain areas of the city.
No, I feel that if any competition staged internationally doesn't have enough information available in literature, in live maps, in film, Los Angeles is the sort of most over-described city in the world. There is an abundance of information, so we feel that whether you're in Tokyo or Novosibirsk, there's no reason why you cannot access information about the city online, in literature, in media. There's ample information. There are numerous traffic studies that are available to competitors online. So no.
So Beverly Hills is not different from East LA?
This is not a competition focused on sociological differences. It's specifically aimed at addressing the terms of Measure R. If you are interested in those differences, we welcome competitors to find a way to weave that into their work.
On the spectrum from sort of speculative and conceptual to feasible and enactable, where would you say your interest lies?
That's a very good question. The question was on the spectrum from speculative to feasible, where would we be looking for competitors to focus their energy? Probably somewhere in the middle. Although we expect that we're going to get highly speculative and perhaps utopian proposals on one end, and we may actually get fairly utilitarian and prosaic solutions.
Yeah. One thing to say without, not spending too much time on this because we're not on the jury, but I think who is on the jury, which we have a combination of practitioners and public policy makers in the city of Los Angeles, as well as design professionals and theorists. So, like any project you would do, understand what your audience is as best you can and try and focus you in that direction. Should clarify that Peter and I are jurors.
Right, I think that's really important. We organize this competition. We are leading into the jury to interpret the brief. I think it's very important, as David has pointed out, that we have both urban professionals, design professionals, as well as individuals involved in administrative major civic organizations. So you're going to get a range of opinions. And I think to the previous question, obviously the jury is not going to be settled around sociological issues or differences either. So clearly this competition is set to stimulate debate, and it's not set to kind of immediately offer standards of resolution. We are hoping in some ways to overturn the cart a little bit. So if there are no more questions?
Would this corridor be just a portion of a larger idea?
It's up to you. I mean, you have to read the brief, you have to read Measure R, and you have to decide whether or not the implications of the corridor go from Alaska to Patagonia. But, that's your discretion. Are there any other further questions? No. Okay. Well, anyway, I hope this has been helpful. And for those of you who are visiting us through the web, again, please feel free to email us if you have any questions that we're not answered here. We look forward to your entry.